Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the InFOCUS video podcast from the Radio and Television Business Report. It is presented by .fm, streaming social podcast to broadcast. Get a .fm domain name by heading over to get.fm today. And today we are virtually heading to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, one of my favorite cities in America, to chat with Bill Bennett. He is the Product Design and Solutions Manager at ENCO Systems. He's here to share a little bit about the latest developments from a company that's been grabbing outsized attention in recent years for its AI-powered technology from broadcast media. And to learn more about what's ahead for the NAB Show attendees come April 19th in Las Vegas, just days away, we welcome Bill to the conversation. So great to have you here.
Adam, it's great to be here. Thank you for having us. Good to see you.
Let's immediately turn our attention to the NAB Show, Bill, which as of the April 14th distribution of this podcast on YouTube is just days away. And a big new update for the AI track platform will be unveiled at the NAB Show. It's a little exciting for you guys and involves putting software in the cloud, if you will. I'm wondering if you can share a little bit more about what this means for its users.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, no, the artificial intelligence is it's not a toy anymore. It's a really useful tool. And we've been able to refine what it can enable for broadcasters over the last few years. First, with our Spec AI product that's been very successful, over 1,000 stations using it to design and build spec ads right in front of customers, not even having to go to a studio. Very quick workflows and efficiencies with that. Now we're tooling it into something much more useful from an online live content standpoint. And that's, like you said, AI track. Originally, we built it to integrate with our playout system, our DAD system, since that's so popular. But now we've had so many requests to build it for other systems, we've decided to make it a cloud-based product that can integrate, therefore, with any playout system. So really broadening the access to it to enable far more broadcasters access to what it brings. And so you want me to just kind of dive into what the details of it are? Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
Please do not let me cut you off. Please continue
great.
A little bit more about some of these details.
Cool.
Again, It's great intelligence as there's going to be a lot of opportunities to learn more in Las Vegas from you guys.
Sure.
But there are thousands of other companies out there that have just been bombarding us with press releases. So cutting through the clutter and really kind of getting to the heart of why people should maybe stop by your booth in the Central Hall, I think is pretty essential right now.
Yeah, thank you for that. And the thing is, we're not a hype company. We've been around since the 80s. Again, radio first and television later. So we know the industry so darn well. And we have so many great customers that have been giving us so much feedback on how to build these tools out. So we don't like to sell the sizzle, really. It's the steak. It's something that makes that work easier, better, more profitable, more cost efficient, improve workflows. And of course, that always rolls back down to cost savings as well. Making content frictionless, and especially the automated content when stations have thin budgets, not enough resources, yet there's a real interest in the listenership for more tailored, like localized, customized content, as hyper local as possible, stuff that really matters to the market that they're in. And that's what the AI track product allows you to do. We've built out some deep intelligence in it to actually monitor news feeds, sports weather feeds, stuff that is local to a market. And we can train the AI to look for situations or events. The customer can build it out in a very clean, like I said, cloud web browser based interface, so they can do it from anywhere. They don't have to be in the studio. And it can go out and grab news that is prescient or timely or emergency and breaking. One example we give is like at 3 a.m, if the National Weather Service puts out a tornado watch for an area within the listener footprint, all of a sudden we can detect that through an API through the National Weather Service or other sources, and immediately grab that text, size it down to something that plays well on the radio, create a synthetic voice from it, and we have dozens of voices, male, female, all kinds of accents, several different languages. So what that station needs to match its brand, we can voice it in that and instantly stop play out and plug it into the AirPlay and put it on. An emergency message at 3 a.m. that no human could do because there's no human there if it's just a station that's built on tracking, or at least in those hours. So this allows people to really get out messages that matter immediately, which ultimately can even be a life safety thing. It's important. And so what we're doing with Spec AI too is that it's going to be a lot more user friendly with this whole new design interface that we built out for it. So it's going to be much easier for people to understand how to use. One of the cooler other things that we've been adding to it also are emotions and different types and this is particularly famous for Spec AI, emotions and multi-voice back and forth, so that you can have 3 or 4 different synthetic voices have a dialogue for you. And in Spec AI, you can also even add sound effects now, so that you can say, let's have 2 or 3 people talking about this ad for the local car dealership, and then let's have a sound effect of a car's whizzing by, or maybe they're advertising the repair shop, and there's a sound of an air gun in the background. You tell it to create that, and then you have this timeline in front of you, and you drag it in where you want it, and then these people are going back and forth. It's like a real conversation. And then what's even realer is we can model actual human voices for both of these products, Spec AI and AI Track. So it can really be the sound of one of your on-air personalities. I mean, you could even theoretically do it with someone who may have passed on if the estate would like that voice to come back. What's really fun is you can also tone it to or have the intonations of your own voice. So it can synthetically create what I would say like a digital twin of your intonation or of your inflection. So it's not your voice that airs. It would still be a synthetic voice, but it would be identical to how you just said it, how you paced it, how your own excitement was, or where you paused. So those are a lot of cool things that AI is allowing us to do that really is useful for on the air, that makes listeners engage better and with such low cost. So that's all.
That's all.
Yeah, and of course we can give demos not just at the booth, but please, folks want to come by to see that, but also it's web-based. We can easily do it for anyone anywhere. I think one of the other we're beta testing now the AI Track product with some valuable customers and getting more of their feedback to refine it, and we'll be launching it next quarter. So because I knew you're probably going to get around to asking about that. It's really fun stuff.
Yeah, the Spring 2026 Radio and Television Business Report magazine is now available for download. And if you're a subscriber, we'll have that hopefully in your inbox by now. We also have print copies at the newsstand and in select locales across the NAB Show at the Las Vegas Convention Center starting April 18th. In it, we offer more about ENCO's offerings and conversation with its president, Ken Fromer. In particular, he noted how the blurred lines between the AV and broadcast worlds are becoming even more meshed, and how everyone seems to be a broadcaster today. With that, live virtual production needs are certainly bigger than ever. And as the second half of 2026 approaches, we know that that is going to be a big conversation topic at the ENCO booth, along with captioning and translation services. What will NAB attendees visiting the central booth find this year in particular that you think is of note?
Software. Everything is, of course, it's so software defined. We said at the top of this interview, AI, but useful AI, stuff that's not a toy, but stuff that you can really get down to do business with and make content with. And again, like I said, frictionless, effortless, or much less effort, efficiencies towards monetization. Whether it's to creating that listenership by Spec AI or the ad revenues from Spec AI that are easy to generate, or the stickier listenership from AI Track. We also have for television, we have this whole virtual production system that we've been building out, which is really cool and very eye-catching. And I think some radio facilities and radio folks do tinker with video at times, and virtual production is a nice way to create videos in a very small, inexpensive, non-physical, therefore virtual space that looks really cool and compelling, without having to build physical sets, which is a neat way for radio broadcasters or programmers to get into the video a little more easily. So, and that's kind of a head turner, right? Plus, we have the automated captioning product that some radio stations are actually captioning, and I mean that they're radio captioning.
That is correct. WTOP in Washington, one of the radio stations we start our day with, has been doing it as a pioneer, and I think it's a really great thing, especially in a market where you have Gallaudet University and a lot of individuals that are unable to hear the radio station. Exactly. They can actually read what's going on the air, and that's a wonderful addition to the community.
You are in my head on that, because I call captioning a third rail of content. You have audio, you have video, you have caption data or captioning, and then that automatically is easy to translate for us through other AI tools into other languages. So let's say you only speak maybe a little bit of English and you're learning it, and you're in Chicago or DC or something, and you're hearing English programming. You may not be able to absorb everything they're saying, but what if you could read the Spanish or other language translation that you do speak? Now all of a sudden you're sort of a listener, but you're a listener reader. And then also from a productivity standpoint, producers who maybe have an hour of audio to get to in a radio program, they're like, well, where's that one time where the guy talked about the purple elephant? Well, how are you going to find that in an audio clip that's an hour long, or maybe it's a 2-hour interview? So when you have a transcript, you just search for purple elephant and it tells you exactly where in the audio file it is, and you jump right in and there you got it.
Or maybe Crazy Elephant, and I had to, go to the 1969 psychedelic rock era because I love the vibe of where you are right now. And when we come back from this short break, maybe we'll throw in a little bit of John Coltrane. I see a keyboard there. I don't know. Maybe there's some Genesis off a Trick of the Tail we can find. But enough about the playful banter here. We'll get back to Bill after this quick word from our sponsors. This is the Radio and Television Business Report InFOCUS Video Podcast. Stand by.
The choice for streaming, social, podcast, and broadcast pros. Stand out, stay relevant, own your sound with a short, powerful .fm domain today. Visit www.get.fm and make waves in the digital world.
And we thank .fm for presenting this InFOCUS video podcast. Hi, we're back. It is Bill Bennett from ENCO, along with myself, Adam R. Jacobson, editor-in-chief at the Radio and Television Business Report. ENCO will be at the Central Hall booth number 2116 from Sunday, April 19th through Wednesday, April 22nd at the NAB Show. As one of the ancillary events at the NAB Show, the Cocktails and Conversations Gathering is again scheduled to be a key place for radio industry professionals during the NAB Show. We've had some TV professionals come along as well, and I will be there representing the Radio and Television Business Report. ENCO is a sponsor of this event, and we're wondering from your perspective, Bill, what you think will be among the key conversations heard in the room.
Yeah, I think I hate to say it's AI again, but it's disruptive to the industry in a good way, and also
in a good way.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that you clarify that and quantify that as a good way, because AI is scary. We've seen some really dynamic things, and this little puppy right here, I can pull up a song that I created literally in 10 minutes, completely using an AI tool back in December from a friend of mine in Germany who was visiting me, and I was dumbfounded. And there are fake songs all over the Spotify charts. Now, apply that to broadcast news or a broadcast radio show. Unfortunately, I just got a fake email from a media broker today saying, hey, download this document for a proposal. And it looked very, very real. I'm sure that there are a lot of nervous people out there, but at the same time, look at the benefits behind this. And I'd like you to kind of focus on that and explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, because I like the technology enables a lot of capabilities, and with any new tool, a hammer, you can build a house with it, or you can drop it on your toe, right? So, or someone else can drop it on your head. So I think the AI side of things is an enabler. Content's always key, right? I think John Malone said that decades ago. It's always about the content, or content is king. And broadcasters constantly have budget issues, challenges with resources, and always trying to maximize efficiencies and, therefore revenues. These tools are designed to help on all of those fronts, because they're designed to make content more quickly, as you've alluded to with music, but with voice. And because the automation that we're doing, we're hooking into real-time information and data that's actual, like I said, to the market with AI Track. So we can build out a news summaries that can go to air faster than any kind of other person go on, which means that producer or those other staff in the newsroom are busy doing other things that are harder to do, that take more time, that are more important. You're not losing your interview resources, your talent. You're giving them other assignments that are even more important, letting the AI do the little stuff. And if it's like I said, 3 a.m. when you want to update in sports, or maybe automated traffic at 6 a.m., the AI can build that out for you. Where again, your staff is busy doing bigger things that matter, maybe preparing for the next show or something like that. So I'm bullish. AI is a tool for improvement of things, whether it's revenue or like I said, stickiness, localization, content that's personal. I mean, if more and more people want stuff that's cut down almost to the, almost to their address, as far as content is, and these tools allow you to get closer and closer. So, especially with streaming, there's a lot you can do with streaming and targeting things to people that are of interest to who they are and what their demographics are. So, it's an enabler, I think, of some really good things out there. And the hard part is for traditional folks who are used to one set of workflows to adopt something which is strange and different and realize it can be helpful to them. And so that's probably one of the other conversations that we'll have at the reception is, how's that going to work? How are you going to train someone who's done this thing for 30 years with this new technology? Well, it takes a little bit of time, but you can do it.
The Cocktails and Conversations event is invitation only. It's at the Capitol Grill and Fashion Show, Las Vegas. So please be sure to RSVP. Bill, if you had a magic wand and could wish one thing for the broadcast media clients ENCO works with, is there something that comes to mind? And I know you're a smart guy because you got your NASA mug, right?
Yeah, the magic wand. Oh, that's a tough one because I do have more of a technical perspective, which means there's always lots of little details in any answer. It's a moving target. One of the magic wand would be to assure people that there are certain forms of stability out there, and that these new things are just pieces that are plugging into it. There are platforms that they already still know and that they still use, and these things can integrate into the existing workflows just as new features without having to learn something entirely new. I'm not sure that's a really big thing to say right there, but for a magic wand, but there's a lot of moving pieces. So how to orchestrate all of that and how to make it clear and understandable is the magic wand might be to have everyone instantly understand how to use these new tools.
Hey, I got one last question. That's okay. I got one last question. It's probably the most important question in this entire podcast. With the Detroit Lions not making the playoffs last year, will they get there this year and erase all of the disappointing moments and injuries? And if so, will that annoy more Steelers fans than anything possible?
So when I grew up in Michigan, I actually was the booth engineer for the Detroit Lions. So I know for a fact that way back then they planned that in 2027 or 6 and 7, they're going to go all the way. So they believe in long-term plans. And Steelers, well, we'll see. We got the NFL draft here, though, this year. So we'll see what that is.
Okay. Listen, thanks so much. I look forward to being in Las Vegas, and it's a pleasure having you here on the podcast.
Thanks for making it fun. See you in the desert.
All right. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us on the InFOCUS video podcast presented by the Radio and Television Business Report and sponsored by .fm, streaming social podcast or broadcast. To get a .fm domain name by heading over to get.fm today. And with that, we want to thank you for taking your time to listen to me and have a little bit of fun about the NFL, along with learning more about ENCO here on this podcast, which you can follow and subscribe to on YouTube. So please tell a friend. From global headquarters here in Boca Raton, Florida, that's home to Streamline Publishing's Radio and Television Business Report and Radio Inc. magazine. I am Adam R. Jacobson, and you can find me indeed in Las Vegas covering the 2026 NAB Show from April 19th to the 21st. So be sure to visit RBR.com across that entire period so you can get all the fresh information that you might want to know from the NAB Show in Las Vegas, including a little bit more about what I might be seeing from ENCO, and that will be included in our upcoming summer 2026 Radio and Television Business Report magazine that arrives May 11th, just in time for the Media, Finance, Management, MFM, and FEI Financial Leaders Forum in San Antonio. One last thing, I want to let you know that if you're going to be in New York City on April 23rd, I will be attending the Hispanic Marketing Council Summit. The HMC Summit is going to be at Convene Midtown West in Midtown Manhattan all day on April 23rd. So if I'm not going to see you at the NAB, I'll see you in New York. Thanks so much and have a great day. And make this your peaceful day. Bye-bye.